We tend to think of sleep as a time when the body shuts down, a passive state where nothing much happens, but physiologically that couldn't be further from the truth. When you close your eyes, your body doesn't just switch off, it switches gears. It initiates a massive, complex maintenance cycle that it simply cannot perform while you are awake, moving and eating. And one of the most critical projects your body undertakes during this night shift is the repair, restoration, and yes, the actual cleaning of your vascular system. There is a biological window that opens up roughly an hour after you fall asleep, where your body attempts to scrub away the oxidative rust, clear out the cellular debris, and repair the lining of your arteries. But here is the catch. This cleaning crew needs specific supplies to do its job. If you haven't provided the right raw materials through your diet before you hit the pillow, that repair window closes, and the damage from the day, the inflammation, the stiffness, the cholesterol deposits just stays there, accumulating year after year. I'm going to share with you 7 specific foods that, when eaten at the right time, act like biochemical keys to unlock these nocturnal repair mechanisms. We aren't just talking about healthy food. In general, we are talking about functional ingredients that specifically enhance the processes of autophagy, efferocytosis, and nitric oxide production that peak while you dream. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly how to structure your evening nutrition to turn your sleep into a nightly therapy session for your heart. If you find this kind of deep dive into the physiology of your health valuable, please take a second to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us continue this research and get this information to the people who need it most. We want to build a community here that prioritizes understanding why the body works, not just looking for quick fixes. So thank you for being here, and let's keep learning together. Before we dive in, I want to be authentic with you. The information in this video is based on current medical research, biochemistry, and clinical studies. However, I am a doctor on the internet, not your doctor. While these foods are powerful, they are not a replacement for prescribed medication or professional medical advice. I have listed the trusted medical institutions and peer-reviewed sources we used to build this presentation in the video description below, so you can verify the science for yourself. Always check with your own healthcare provider before making significant changes to your diet, especially if you are on blood thinners or other medications. To understand how we can clean arteries, we first have to understand what dirty arteries actually are. We often visualize plaque-like grease clogging a kitchen sink, but it's much more complex than that. Plaque is actually an immune battleground. It starts when the lining of your artery, the endothelium, gets damaged and cholesterol gets stuck inside the wall. Your immune system sends in cleanup crews called macrophages to eat that cholesterol. In a healthy scenario, these cells eat the cholesterol and then leave a process called reverse cholesterol transport. But in a diseased artery, these cells eat too much and get trapped and die right there inside the wall. This accumulation of dead immune cells is what forms the dangerous core of a plaque. Cleaning the artery effectively means helping your body clear out these dead cells and exit the vessel wall. And the fascinating part, this clearance process is heavily regulated by your circadian rhythm. This brings us to our first powerhouse food, pomegranate. Now, I'm not talking about pomegranate flavored sugar water. I mean the real fruit or pure tart juice. Pomegranate is unique because it contains a potent molecule called punicolagen. When you consume this, your gut bacteria convert it into urolithins, which have a remarkable effect on your biochemistry. They reactivate an enzyme in your body called parasoxenase 2 or PNN2. Why does this matter? Because PON2 acts like a detergent for that trapped cholesterol we just talked about. It prevents the oxidation of LDL cholesterol. Think of oxidation like rusting. Regular LDL is just a particle, but oxidized LDL is toxic and sticky. Pomegranate stops the rust. But it gets even better for your sleep cycle. Research has shown that the polyphenols in pomegranate can actually influence the expression of your clock genes, specifically BMAL1 and PR2. These are the genes that tell your blood vessels it's nighttime, time to repair by consuming pomegranate, perhaps as a small glass with dinner or some seeds in a salad. You are essentially synchronizing your vascular clock, ensuring that the antioxidant enzymes are at their peak activity. Right when you are asleep and your metabolic rate is lowest, it's a dual action scrub, stopping the oxidation on the front end and upregulating the cleaning enzymes on the back end. Now, once we have addressed the oxidation, we need to deal with the structure of the plaque itself. And this is where our second food, fermented foods rich in vitamin K2, comes into play. I'm talking about things like natto hard-aged cheeses like Gouda or Brie, or even a high-quality sauerkraut. You see, late-stage plaque isn't just soft fat, it creates a shell of calcium. It hardens, this is called calcification, and it makes the arteries stiff and brittle, leading to high blood pressure. For the longest time, we thought this calcification was permanent, but we now know the body has a protein called matrix glycoprotein, or MGP, that can actually stop and potentially reverse this calcification. Here is the problem. MGP is produced by your body in an inactive state. It's asleep at the wheel. To wake it up, it needs a cofactor, vitamin K2. Without K2, MGP is useless, and calcium drifts out of your blood and settles in your arteries like lime scale in a pipe. But when you eat K2-rich foods, you activate MGP. Once activated, this protein acts like a traffic cop for calcium, physically grabbing it and escorting it out of your arteries and into your bones where it belongs. Since bone remodeling and tissue repair are highly active during the deep stages of sleep, having a supply of vitamin K2 in your system from your evening meal ensures that this day calcification patrol is fully staffed while you rest. So we have stopped the rust with pomegranate and managed the calcium with K2. Now we need to talk about the pressure. You cannot clean a pipe effectively if the water is blasting through it at maximum pressure. You need the pressure to drop. This is a natural phenomenon called nocturnal dipping. In a healthy person, blood pressure should drop by about 10 to 20% while sleeping. This dip gives your arteries a rest from the constant pounding of the day. If you don't dip, a condition called non-dipping, your risk of heart attack skyrockets. This is where garlic enters the chat. Garlic contains allicin and, perhaps more importantly for the night shift, a compound called S-allicystine. These compounds work similarly to a mild ACE inhibitor, a common blood pressure medication. They help relax the smooth muscle cells that wrap around your arteries. When these muscles relax, the vessel widens. Vasodilation occurs and pressure drops. Including garlic in your dinner doesn't just flavor your food, it chemically signals your blood vessels to relax, facilitating that critical nocturnal dip. When the pressure is lower, the shear stress on the arterial wall is reduced, allowing the endothelial cells to shift their energy from survival mode to repair mode. Moving on to number 4, we have a heavy hitter for inflammation: fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, or sardines. We all know omega-3s are good for us, but the reason they are crucial for our sleep cleaning concept is due to a specific set of molecules called resolvins, as the name implies, and these molecules resolve inflammation. Remember those dead immune cells I mentioned earlier? The ones piling up in the plaque? Your body needs to clear them out. This process of clearing the dead to save the living is called efferocytosis. In people with atherosclerosis, efferocytosis is broken. The cleanup crew is on strike. Omega-3 fatty acids are the direct precursors to resolvins. By consuming fatty fish at dinner, you are flooding your system with the raw materials needed to synthesize these resolvins. As you enter the fasting state of sleep, insulin levels drop and inflammation pathways quiet down, giving resolvins the perfect environment to work. They reactivate the macrophages, telling them, okay, break time is over. Let's clean up this mess. It essentially jumpstarts the garbage disposal system of the artery wall. Now, let's talk about the master controller of this entire nightly operation, the hormone melatonin. And that brings us to food number 5, walnuts. Walnuts are fascinating because they are one of the few foods that actually contain a bioavailable form of melatonin. But more than that, they are rich in the amino acid tryptophan and the omega-3 fat ALA. This combination is a triple threat for sleep quality. And you see, you can't have artery repair without deep sleep if you are waking up every hour, or if fret you aren't getting enough deep wave sleep, the glymphatic system, which clears waste from your brain, and the vascular repair system simply don't turn on. A study specifically showed that regular walnut consumption increased blood levels of melatonin and improved sleep latency. That means you fall asleep faster, but the benefit is twofold. While the melatonin helps you sleep, the alpha-linolenic acid, ALA, in the walnuts works on the endothelium to improve its function. It's the perfect evening snack. It helps knock you out and provides the tools for the repair crew. Think of it as paying the contractors and giving them the keys to the building at the same time. Number 6 is closely related but works through a slightly different pathway, tart cherries, specifically the Montmorency variety. While walnuts provide building blocks, tart cherries are a direct signaling mechanism. They have been shown in clinical trials to significantly extend sleep duration and efficiency. But why is this on an artery cleaning list? Because of the anthocyanins, the pigments that give the cherries their deep red color. These compounds are potent vascular antioxidants. When you drink tart cherry juice, these anthocyanins travel through your bloodstream and reduce the stiffness of the arteries. They inhibit the signaling molecules that tell the body to create inflammation. So by having a small glass of tart cherry juice in the evening, you are doing two things. You are chemically inducing a deeper, more restorative sleep state, and you are bathing your arteries in a solution that lowers inflammation. It lowers the noise in the system, so the repair enzymes can hear the instructions from your biological clock. Finally, number 7, this one is vital for keeping the blood flowing to the periphery while you lie horizontal. Nitrate-rich vegetables, specifically beets or leafy greens like spinach and arugula. As we age, our body loses the ability to produce nitric oxide, a gas that keeps our arteries open and slippery. By the time you are 50, you might only produce half the nitric oxide you did when you were 20. This is a problem at night because if your vessels constrict too much, your heart has to work harder to pump blood against gravity, or in this case, horizontally through a tighter system. Dietary nitrates from these vegetables are converted by bacteria in your mouth. Yes, the oral microbiome matters here into nitrite and then in your stomach into nitric oxide. This gas diffuses into the muscle cells of your arteries and forces them to relax. Consuming these at dinner provides a slow release supply of nitric oxide that lasts through the night. This ensures that even while your heart rate drops during sleep, the total blood flow remains efficient, ensuring that oxygen and nutrients, including all the good stuff from the other foods we mentioned, actually reach the deepest tissues and the microvessels that need repair. So, how do we put this all together into a real life? You don't need to eat a salad with all 7 of these ingredients every single night. That would get boring fast. But think about your evening meal as a strategic opportunity. Maybe tonight you have grilled salmon for the omega-3s with a side of roasted beets for the nitrates and a spinach salad with walnuts for the melatonin. For dessert, a small bowl of yogurt fermented with some pomegranate seeds. By doing this, you aren't just eating dinner, you are loading your body with a toolkit. You are providing the soap, the scrub brush, the pipe cleaner, and the crew to come in and restore your system while you rest. You are taking advantage of the biology of sleep rather than fighting against it with late night sugar or processed foods that spike your insulin and shut down these repair processes. It's empowering to realize that your body wants to heal. It wants to clean your arteries. It just needs you to stop interrupting it and start supporting it. If you found this information helpful, please share this video with someone you care about. Cardiovascular health is something we all need to take seriously, and sometimes the simplest changes, like what we eat for dinner, can have the most profound effects over a lifetime. As always, I'm rooting for you and your health. Check the description for those sources if you want to geek out on the science. Sleep well, eat smart, and I'll see you in the next video.